Hey everyone, welcome to Uma Talks with Natalie Romash and Rita Kakati-Shah. Hey Rita.
Hi, Natalie. Hi, everyone.
Guys, I'm so glad to see you all here today. And today we're gonna talk about resolution. We're sharing a lot of tips and tricks on our Instagram on how to make resolutions, how to keep them, and how to do it the way that it will work for you. And it's almost the entire month of the new year, and probably a lot of us tried the resolutions and something worked, something not. And so today we will help you to make these resolutions stick and literally reach to the stars. So, Rita, I would like us to start with the question I saw from our followers, and it is, why do we need to prioritize our goals and resolutions?
Great question. And Happy New Year to everyone that we haven't already wished. I mean, this is like my favorite time to kind of think about new goals and things like that. So, why should you prioritize? Well, it's helpful for yourself. You're starting off the new year. You're starting off to think, okay, what am I going to get done this year? It's a great time to kind of, clean up things that you haven't worked on in a while, to focus on different things. But what do you focus on? So, that's why we prioritize, to kind of think, okay, what is important to you personally? And the important isn't just something to do with work. It isn't just something to do with personal life. It's something that is across everything. Your life is a spectrum of everything. It is emotions, it is the outdoor world, it's the indoor world, it is work, it is personal, it could be your family life, it could be political life, whatever it is that gets you going. So when you prioritize, it's something a little bit of each of those that you want to develop that little bit further. So that's the reason we do it, to keep you motivated and to keep you going.
Oh, thank you, Rita. It truly helps a lot. Honestly, I saw even with these like tiny details, I saw that it is hard for goals to stick. Sometimes life happens, sometimes family happens, sometimes it's just like, oh, I feel so lazy, or maybe I don't need it. How to overcome all these different cognitive biases that every one of us have, and to make the goal stick. So, do you know any techniques that we can just like do and move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to think about once you prioritize what goals you're going to do, you're going to think about, why are you doing these goals in the first place? What is that sticking point? What is that passion, that drive, that motivation behind doing these goals in the first place? And that's your reason for doing them. So once you've got that, then you have to break down how you're going to do it into small, achievable steps. There could be a goal of, if you're a child, I'm going to learn to ride a bike. Well, it's not a matter usually of just getting on a bike and just riding it straight away. There's lots of mini steps. You might have to get something to ride on to start with. You might have to practice some balancing skills, number 2. Then you might have to have training wheels on number 3. And then slowly, one by one, you might be trying to take the training wheels off. So there's four mini steps of trying to get to that. And then the confidence of doing it without any wheels on. It's the same without adult life as well. So once you prioritize, you break them down into smaller steps, you think of that drive of why you're doing it, because you need that passion to keep going and keep on going until you achieve that goal.
Oh yeah, definitely, Rita. And I discovered the online competitions, and
Mm,
it can be like in fitness app like Peloton, or some maybe someone is doing fasting,
yeah.
and Zero Up helps, and there are different things on the internet that you can join, and this brings such like gamified experience. And first, it's easy to track to see your progress, and the other part, and I think that it's like missing so much. There is a way to celebrate our tiny victories, like when you run Sunday a run with Nike app. It shows you, hey, you got it, you did it, and it's like a gift for you. It's kind of like a badge or something. But I noted
Yeah.
that tiny little things, they literally help us and motivate us to stick to the goals. And
Mm.
besides the fitness apps and just habit trackers, how do you think, what are the other ways we can integrate the celebration of tiny victories when it comes to making our goals stick?
That's a great point. And the question you've mentioned there, Natalie. And here's the thing, you've actually mentioned it. It is the little victories and celebrating those. And that's the important thing. By breaking everything into these mini steps and have these mini victories, mini moments that you can actually say, oh, I've achieved that. Yes, let me pat myself on the back. Makes it that much more worthwhile, so you can feel and see the actual progress you're making. Whether it's you've achieved a little part of a timeline of doing something, you just give yourself a little star or give yourself a little treat of whatever it is, or something else you're doing. It's about breaking them up into small, achievable steps. And if you don't get it, that's totally fine as well. It just gives you more motivation to think, okay, let me give myself a day or so and try again. The importance here, though, is don't give up. Remember the why and that drive of why you're doing this in the first place, and let that continue your momentum moving forwards.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, we were sharing the advice about reconnecting with the family and the community. And sometimes it can help a lot, but sometimes I notice like it's like personally that it can be also like a distraction. And because when you like trying to do something and mom calls or a family member or something, and sometimes it's hard to communicate that, hey, I'm doing something and let's like have a call, for example, later or something. How to how do you think, how can we communicate so our family members will be happy, and they sometimes they wanted to support us but they have no idea actually how to do it. And when we are like trying, even like with all the diplomacy, everything like we taught at UMA, trying to negotiate the time that we need to spend to do our goals, they may feel upset, even they won't like tell us, but like it's like tiny little gestures, tiny little voice tone that you may feel. And how to make everyone happy and make yourself move to the goal, and actually how to inspire maybe family members to move to their goal as well, so it will be like big movement altogether.
Yeah, you know what? One thing you've mentioned, that is one of our most popular coaching issues that everybody brings up, is about, okay, I'm starting to work on prioritizing my goals. I'm trying to structure my day. Everybody right now lives with other people, not everybody, but quite a few people, and that means your family members too. And historically, we know that because our family is the closest to us, it's sometimes the hardest to push back. When something comes along, or a parent walks in, or a partner walks in, they just walk in, even if you're in the middle of a meeting. And that barrier, even though you have managed to separate it, how does that extend outside of your immediate circle? So that's the thing. How do you kind of convey the message? So I think you've got to put it kind of like, straight and structure your day. So you do it offline, whether it's at the dinner table, whether it's first thing in the morning, and say, hey, this is what I'm working on today. So let's have a chat at this time or later on. If you want me to do anything for you or whatever, just let's put some time in the calendar. Or if somebody said, oh, remember that thing I told you to work on? Have you done it for me? Say, you know what, that's such a great idea. I'd love to chat about it a bit more, but I've got this and this going on now. How about we chat about it in the afternoon? Or you know what, let's chat about it at 3 over a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So you're not saying no, but what you're trying to do is structure your day to fit it in. So it's almost like using up those professional skills you've developed, but also working for your personal life too. I do the same with my kids. It helps them learn about structure and time at home. They have structure when they're doing their schoolwork at school. They have a timetable, but sometimes that tends to fade. Or when I'm on a conference call or something, they can just walk in the room. Not anymore. That doesn't happen, because now we've got a structure in place. It's very much to say, well, mummy's doing this at this time. Why don't you come at this time? Or yes, absolutely, I'll play that with you. Or let's draw that picture together, but let's do it then. So they've got something to look forward to. You haven't said no. You've said yes, but in a different way.
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I don't have kids yet, but I have my mom, and my mom is Ukrainian woman, and she's very, very likes to like care, and she's very kind, but if it from such a way to communicate. And sometimes I notice that if we say that, hey, not like I like such like strict, very like professional, but if we say it, maybe even sometimes I use like as a game. Let's see it as a challenge, so we will have like conversation at this time, and before that maybe you have a task, what we're gonna discuss or something. So the person not only just will plan it, but it will be like an achievement. So I need to do something in order to have a conversation, like in a game, you need to do something and then you got a reward.
Exactly. So what I was going to say, it really depends on who you're speaking to and their pattern and style. I've used the example for my kids. It's the same as my parents, they're 5 hours ahead of me as well. So there's a bit of a time difference there, but it depends on who you're speaking to, what is their goal, and about being polite about it as well, and very diplomatic. So you're not saying no, you're just trying to do it in a different way. So if they want you to do something for you, say, oh yeah, great idea, I will do that. how about we chat about it a bit later? Or I have an idea, why don't you put together the points we talked about? So when we chat tomorrow, we can actually go over the colors or the themes or whatever the topic is. So at least that way, it's sort of like you're engaging, but not right now. You're trying to kind of, you're problem solving.
Yeah, and what is important, the person feels connected. The person feels that you are caring about them, and not that, hey, like, go away, I don't want to talk with you right now. And especially with distant relations with family members, from my experience, it's very, very important to give them this connection, because it comes like from the heart, but sometimes it may sound like that. So let's move forward. I have a different kind of question from one of our followers, and she's telling us that, hey, I did everything as you told about, but it's still not working. So if someone found themselves in this kind of situation, what to do, how to maybe reflect, analyze, and how to make everything work?
Thank you for reaching out firstly and foremost, but we would actually like to ask you to kind of reach out privately as well, because if something isn't working, there's usually a step or something going on in the background, the reason for it. So I always tell people that it's not just a matter of putting a band-aid on the problem, but figuring out what is the root cause of that. So there's obviously something causing that. So if it's your timing right now, if it's your family situation, something is going on. So we might be a slightly different goal that we focus on first. It might be changing the steps that you take. It might be breaking up the structure of it. So it's hard to kind of answer that fully without understanding your personal situation. But I would definitely say, have a look at what you're doing, see if you need to reorientate the priority of what you're doing, but please feel free to reach out so we can actually help you further on this one.
Oh, thank you, Rita. And I have the last question for you. Sometimes we can end up with big goal and then so much small goals. Then it feels like, oh my gosh, I won't never get there. So how to overcome this situation?
Break it into smaller steps. So when you have a big plan in place, totally fine to look out there and have the biggest, most ambitious dreams, but think about breaking them into smaller steps. What does it take to get there in the first place? And break them into smaller steps. Think about how are you going to achieve each of those mini steps, and only do one at a time. Don't put the big goal as being the one that's, you're giving yourself a month to do. Give yourself time to just do the mini steps first, and then see how you go. Sometimes as you go along, your path might divert a bit as well, and that's totally normal as well. Have fun with it.
And actually, it reminds me one more situation I wanted to discuss, and it is about flexibility, because sometimes it's super easy to put everything in your calendar, to organize, I will do this and this and this, and plan it, for example, for a week, for a day, or for a month. And then life happens, and we can end up in a situation that with all the best intentions, it's impossible, or we need to do something in other way. And how to help ourselves to be more flexible, and not to say that, hey, all right, I want to do it, but to find a different way, how to adjust.
Yeah, so it's just reprioritizing. You think about, things come up in life all the time, and you might have to just swap and change. So always be flexible in yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And it's always whatever has been achieved, remember to pat yourself on the back for that. Things always come up in life, we know that. But it's how do we recover and what do we do from that? So keep your goals in mind, keep the why as well. If this is something that you absolutely want to get done, you will get it done. But it's a matter of finding out when and how to do it. If it's not this week, absolutely fine. But let's figure out another time. Maybe it's getting up that hour earlier one day next week. Maybe it's staying up that little bit later in 2 weeks' time. Whatever it is, just to kind of catch up and make sure you're back on your goals again.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you, guys, for all your great questions and your support. And next week, we're going to talk about extremely beautiful topic, and it is reach for the stars. And you know what? I want Rita to tell us more about it.
Reach for the stars. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite topics, because this is where you can get that full-on goddess of go-getting, that inside empowerment out of you to really go out there and get to the best of what you possibly can. So I love it. Can't wait for it. Do send us all your questions and comments, and let's see you next time.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.